Hi guys, so welcome back to Be Victorious, and today this video is more for beginners, but I'm going to kind of tell you what you need to do when you first get your hive and how to assemble it. So first, the most important part is you need the bottom board. Well, you need a base to put it on. Since we're not outside, my base is just going to be table for now. But you need a bottom board to keep all of the bugs or any robbers and animals that may want to get into the hive. As you can see, mine has tiny little holes in it for ventilation. And you can have these in the winter or the summer. Some people get confused on that, but it can be for any season, anytime, anywhere, basically. The next part you're going to need is this. If you don't have that many bees in your beehive yet, what you can do to make sure that mice and rats don't get in or any other tiny rodents get in, you can put this on. And it just fits in right perfectly, right there. And the bees can get through that tiny hole easy, but mice and rats can't. Now let's say your population grows of bees and the bees are like pushing and shoving and struggling to get out. You just take it out, flip it, and let me get it like that. And now that's a bigger space. And if it grows even more, like mine is, and you have so many bees, they can't even get through that. What you can do is just take it out completely. This is just so mice and rats don't get in it when the hive is too tiny to defend itself. Now that there's so many that bees can get through that space, there's probably enough guards to protect the hive. So I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. The next thing that you're going to need to assemble your hive. So, like I was saying, the next thing you'll need are these, and they're they're super boxes. They're supers, and they're just really big boxes. Some of them have 8 frames, some 6, some 10. It's kind of just what you want to buy. Right now, this one has only 8 in it. We could fit 9, but yeah, that's all this one has. And you usually, as a beginner or anything really, you should probably have 2. And when you're going to harvest this winter, you don't want to take any honey out of these. Taking honey out of these is basically, you're basically asking for the bees to die. Because all of this is all larvae, eggs, honey, all food, and babies. So that's what you need as a beginner. And then this one, you don't necessarily need this. This one does have this that you can open to see the inside of the hive, but you don't necessarily need it. And then we haven't done this yet, but your frames, you're going to need to put the piece of plastic, if you do use it, like we do, we put one of those sheets of plastic that fits in it, and then we'll let the bees work off of it. But right now we don't have any of them filled. But you'll do that. This is the frame I was telling you about. It's the exact same, but it has this piece of plastic I was telling you about, and it's outlined as the honeycomb shape, and then the bees will just work off of it. So you'll need to fill it like this. You don't have to do this, but we do. You can take wax. If you melt it down, you can put it on it, and then the bees will get onto the wax, move it around. That's if your bees need help with it, because when we first got our bees, we did that. Like if you have the same bees for like 3 years in a row, you may not have to do that every year. But if you have new frames like this that have nothing built on it that the bees have done, sometimes it is kind of helpful to them, especially in the beginning of the year where there are barely any flowers. Okay, so if you don't know how you wax frames or what it looks like or how to do it, we do need to wax some frames this year, especially because we're going to be ordering a new pack of bees soon. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, waxing the frames, in the future there probably will be a video for that. Then the next part you're going to need, okay, so this is the next piece, and it is the queen excluder. You just set it right on top. But basically what it does is those tiny holes, because the queen's so long, she cannot fit through it. So it's really helpful if you are going to put, like if you're wanting to harvest this year, you're going to want to put this, the queen excluder on, and then the honey boxes on top of it. That way the queen can't go up there and lay. Because ask anyone, do you want to eat honey that has dead bees in it or baby bees crawling around? I doubt anyone will say yes to that. That just sounds gross. No one wants to have baby bee eggs and bees up in their food. No one wants that. And I'll show you the difference between plastic and metal ones. And the bees have put some, what's it called? Propolis on it. Propolis, if you don't know what it is, it's a glue substance kind of that bees use to seal up the hive. And for some reason, they did it on this. I don't know why, but they did. So that is the plastic one. The other one we have, which we only have one of them, we don't really use it that often. We barely used it last year, is this metal one. It's the exact same size, basically, the same concept. The only difference is instead of plastic, it's metal. That's literally the only difference. The slots are longer and tinier. I guess if you had a tinier queen, you may want this. That way because if you look at it, these are like only half the size as the other ones, and they're super long. So, I mean, if you have a tinier queen than what we have, these could be more helpful for you. It's just the type of bees, and you can see there's still propolis all on the outside. But I'm just going to put the metal one up there. Is it straight? Also, well, I'm going to put the plastic. And make sure that you buy the right size for the type, because if you look at that, if you make it all straight, it has that much sticking off. I'm not going to worry about that right now, but just know your size and how big it is. Then the next thing is this. It is a tinier one, and these are half boxes where you need 2 boxes. They're the same size, 2 boxes to make a hole. I don't know why it's like that, but some people like it like that. It's easier to carry, I guess. So if you're someone that doesn't have a lot of people helping you to harvest this year, and these may be better for you. That way you can just pick it up easily and walk, because a full box like this is weighing a lot. It weighs over 150 pounds, and it's not the easiest to carry by yourself sometimes. And they have some frames in it. The queen can't get up there because of the queen excluder, so only the worker bees can fit up there, and they'll just fill the upper part of the hive with honey. And the last video, maybe 2 videos ago, I showed you the sugar water. And if you have the queen excluder and the honey boxes, don't feed them sugar water, because what they'll do is their plan is to fill this with food. So sugar water is food to them. So they'll go up, they'll grab the sugar water, then they'll come back down and they'll put it in this. And then the honey isn't really honey anymore. It could be honey and sugar water, just sugar water, just honey. It's going to be a mix. And I don't think people really want to try sugar water. I've never thought of it, so let's not feed people sugar water. But that's basically what these are. The queen can't get up there to lay any larvae in them. So they're really helpful if you're going to harvest anything this year. So let me just say is, I don't know if you heard me, but these are called honey boxes, where all the honey gets put in the boxes, where the name came from. But if you want to harvest any honey this year or whenever you see this, then these are required. If you don't have it, you won't really be able to sell just honey. And if you aren't planning on harvesting, because I know some people that own bees just to pollinate the flowers and keep the population going. Some people don't want to harvest, and that's not bad. It's fine not harvesting. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you aren't going to harvest, take the take the honey boxes and the queen excluder off. They're just if you want to harvest any honey this year. If you don't plan on harvesting, then you don't need them. They're useless to you. The next thing you'll need, this is required. You have to have it, harvesting or not. And it's the inner cover. It's kind of like a lid, but this hole is for like ventilation. It's just in case, let's say something happens to the roof, just so nothing happens to the rest of the hive, you want to have this. It's like an extra protector just in case anything goes wrong. And mine has that, where bees can fly in, or even air can go through and get through. So if I was a little bee, I could fly, not fly. I could just walk on in and go into it should be like that. Walk right in and go into the rest of the hive. So that's what this is. It's the inner cover, and its job is just to reinforce kind of the roof of the hive. So that's basically what that is. Put that up there. That is a knot. And some of like this did not come on this. Some of this stuff we just got from our other hive. So they are supposed to fit, but like I said, this doesn't fit either. Buy one for the size that you have. On our others, this does fit. This is just an 8 frame, so it's tinier. Now let me go grab the roof. So now this is like the final thing to the hive, really, and it is the roof. You have to have the roof. It's like beehives are a house. There are some things you need. These are like the different rooms of the house. And what can you call a house if it doesn't have a roof? It's not really a house, or what humans call a house. So this roof is a little different from others. It's shaped differently. It does have this material on it. It's better for if it's raining or snowing, just so the hive doesn't get wet. Sometimes it can be better than wood. Not always, just I've heard it from other people that are beekeepers. So, and when you're going to put this on, it's very important that this is like the lip, and the lip should kind of overlap the beehive in a way, just in case if it's snowing or raining, it can't just sneak through the crack. There's a lip, so it's covering that and it can't get through. That's also why we have that. So, like, this doesn't fit, so I will take this off to show you the roof that we have right now, just so you can kind of see what I mean by it has a lip. This is what I meant by the lip. You can't see the crack there anymore, but if you lift it, there is. If you close it, there isn't. So that helps with that. This is the roof that came with this. Most people don't have a roof like that. Where we buy our stuff, and where I feel like a lot of people that we've talked to in the past buy their stuff, buy their roof, it's looking like this. It's basically the same thing. So roof has a lip. This is to just in case the wood isn't good enough. It's literally the same thing, just different shaped. This is like kind of what more people have, or what people I've talked to. I feel like this is kind of more if you have a garden and you kind of just want the beehive to look all cute and fancy, just to, kind of for decoration. I'd say that's kind of better. It looks nicer if you're expecting it to look fancy and stuff. If you're just going for the average beehive, then this is kind of what you should get. They work just about the same. We've always tried these. We actually, right in like July-ish, I want to say, we bought this off of someone. So we've never been able to try it. So this year I'll try it and I'll tell you how it worked for us. Of course, that's just going to be for us. I bet other people have experienced better and worse situations. Kind of just where you live, the weather, and yeah. So that's basically how you assemble a beehive. The next thing that I kind of want to tell you about that a lot of people don't know, I feel like, is where you paint it. You have to do it in a very certain way, because you cannot paint the inside of a beehive. Painting the inside of a beehive, the bees would think, hey, that's food. They'll eat it, and then the paint could they could get poisoned. And if they have honey on them, and then they put the poison in the honey, and then all that poison spreads throughout all the bees, the whole colony is dead, basically. So never paint the insides of a hive. You just want to paint the outsides, so that if it rains or snows or anything that's wet hits it, it doesn't ruin the wood. Because if it ruins the wood, then you have to get something else to put your bees in so it doesn't rot. So never paint the insides. I've also had a lot of people ask me this, would you paint the frames? And the answer to that is no, because usually the frames are where they put their food. So if you put poison right next to their food, here's the poison, they're gonna think the poison's the food too. So then they could also eat the poison. That's not what we want to do. So don't paint any of the frames, just paint the outside so it can stay safe. And if you have more than one beehive, we didn't do this, but sometimes it is better to paint them different colors or make the shapes a little different, or even the base, just so they can recognize their home. I know it's their house and we've never had any problems with it, but I don't know. It's kind of up to you guys what you think about it. So that's kind of it. Another thing I do want to talk about before I go is how high does the base need to be for the bottom so it's not touching the ground. Some people, they just put this on the ground outside and it works for them. Some people, we do this because we have a lot of ants. We just make a base like that big, nothing ginormous or anything real fancy. We just find something, put it on top, put it outside. It works. And then, but a lot of, like, depending on where you live, I know a lot of people have skunks, and skunks are bee eaters. They will walk up to the hive, start banging on it. The bees will be like, what's that racket? So then all the guards go outside to see what the racket is, and then the little skunk's right there, and it just eats all the bees like it's candy. We don't want that either. So if you do have any skunks kind of in the area, I suggest a base that is 16 to 18, maybe even 20 inches off the ground. Just in case, to make it better, because you don't want skunks eating all your bees. And I think that's about it. So that's probably going to be the end of this video. If you guys liked this video and found it enjoyable or helpful, smash the thumbs up. And if you would, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Make a comment down below what you would like to see in the future, any requests. If you're a beginner or not, just tell me what you want to see. And that'll be it. Bye, guys.